Hello, everyone, and welcome back to part 2 of our discussion with Matt from the Aurelian Group in Sydney, Australia. If you've missed part 1, please check it out on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. Links are in the description below. How do you manage to retain your Z1 customers? I mean, you obviously put across really nice processes. You've got this really nice business model that makes them reassured, creates a sense of trust and longevity and so on and so forth. Are there customers that in the end, when they have to renew the subscription, require certain kind of a push, or do they just go on because they're just happy with the work they do?
Obviously, I'd like to say I got 100% retention. It's not entirely true. I had one customer leave because they got acquired by a bigger company, and they said, "No, you can't use Zoho. You must use." And I think it was Dynamics, right?
Dynamics.
Okay, sure, perfect, no problem whatsoever. We'll help you transition. I had a customer leave because they actually were a very nice customer. They were using Recruit and Zoho One, but none of the people actually knew how to use Recruit. It was a bit too feature rich for them. So they went to something, I think it was Job Adder, and they actually asked me like, "Matt, can you do Job Adder as well? Because we want to retain your service. Just the software is just too hard for us, right?" And nothing against Recruit. Recruit is just too over featured for them. And you could hire people in the market knowing Job Adder. So that was the reason I said, just have to let you, I just can't, right?
Yeah.
And I had a customer that says, we've been with you now for 2 years. So we're going to see if we can, spread out and try with another partner for a while. And they came back.
That's good.
Right. So in the end, you can hold your customer at gunpoint. You don't.
You can't.
You can't, right?
You just have to keep them as happy as you can.
I don't sell to customers. I help them make a buying decision.
Yeah.
That's another thing. So I'm never going to, I'm not the guy who follows, I'll send you an info. You need to sign here, right? I send you a proposal. If it works for you, you come back. And most of them do, right? Some of them don't, or they come back a year or two later. Also fine. I only help you with a buying decision.
Yeah.
Right. That's it. That's where my role ends.
It's a critical part.
So the other, I think, crucial point is how we acquire customers.
And how is that?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
90% of my clients come word of mouth.
Okay.
Just referred by another client.
Yeah.
Just referred by another client. And that is, again, I got the best clients in the world. Right. So I'm not kidding. It multiplies then. But because they get it from someone they trust, I don't have to sell, because I don't like telling you like how fantastic it's going to be. I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Certain things are going to be great. Yes, it's going to be great with us, but it's not going to be perfect, because that's how we have that relationship. We get a constant relationship of every day a little bit better, right? And we do magic things. I mean, we set things up really quickly because we know now how to do that. We make sure that you don't have to spend too much time with that as well, because the other thing with the implementation is a lot of times they bring this big project team in your shop. They're going to be there for 3 to 6 months, and guess what? They need to be babysitting by someone. Someone needs to be sitting with them, and you need to give us work, otherwise we bill you for nothing. We don't work that way, right? So it's just, that's how we work, and because I know the project is never done. Because the project has got a beginning and an end point, and stuff happens in the middle. But your business is ongoing.
Yeah.
Has your business environment stopped changing just because you started the project and finished it? No, it hasn't. Your business environment changes constantly, and you don't have any influence over it. Where your competitor's doing something new, you need to make an adoption there. You have a new product in the market, there's a new process. The government shuts you down. Right? There's so many things you can't influence.
Yeah, you can't.
And
control
we're just in the back end.
Yeah.
And we never have the conversation like, you ran out of hours, you need to pay X or wait for next month. No, it's just, we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, you mentioned things we can't influence. It's almost never a possibility where you have a customer who starts from scratch implementing a solution with absolutely no data. Inevitably, a customer comes to us or to, Zoho or to you or whatever it is, with data, either on spreadsheets or from other systems and so on and so forth. So data migration becomes quite a bit of an issue, especially when it comes to data quality, right?
Yeah.
How do you address that with customers, and what kind of solutions do they normally migrate from when it comes to Zoho One?
I actually do have some clients that are actual startups, or
really?
or they're just a new program. We just have a new client that is just it's a new business, but an existing client. So we start from scratch. Starting from scratch is so much easier.
Yeah, of course.
The
Right.
data is the data, right? Yes, it's a big risk on the project because we know that data isn't clean. The clients know the data isn't clean. And guess what? They don't have the time to fix it. Probably they don't even have the knowledge anymore to fix it because from all these years, there's been a number of people working on it and they don't know. That's like, yep, it looks like that. We don't know what it should look like, right? Because that's the other thing is that it's the massaging it into what it should look like is great. But if no one really knows what it should look like, then what are we talking about, right? So data migration is always a risk and you can't magically make, there's no data laundry machine. We have tools,
There
right?
isn't. I mean, what I'm
We have
talking...
data prep, for instance, right?
Yeah, data prep
it's
is a perfect
fantastic.
example.
But you have to know what it should look like. So it takes out the inconsistencies. That's fantastic. But if I have data like, well, actually that contact doesn't work with that client anymore for years, but no one updated it, then data prep doesn't help because it looks in the data, if you look at the attributes and everything from the it looks fantastic. It's no longer accurate.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's just that more often than not, we have customers who end up, obviously being worldwide, you'd have different regions, right? So you'd have salespeople entering USA and then United States of America or the US, or UK being United Kingdom or Britain and so on and so forth. That ends up becoming an issue when you generate reports or analytics and so on. So those are the kind of things
but
that
these are easily solved, right?
Exactly.
That's not really a problem.
That's not exactly a problem.
But it's the nuance of data, right? Like I got this. Let's say I have 2 years worth of sales history.
Yeah.
Okay. How good is the quality? Well, actually, we don't know because we use spreadsheets and we actually didn't have item codes. So and the descriptions are kind of like how it used to be, right? So it's like we just type it in. Okay. So can you go back in history and tell me what the item codes were? Because I certainly can't. I don't know your business. I don't know your items, right? No. But can you fix it for me? Well, no. Right? So if you don't have the starting place, right? What does the starting place? Well, anytime you make a program a route with whatever mapping tool you use, you need to know where you're going.
Yeah.
But if you have an undefined starting place, how would you expect that tool to go like, oh, and this is the directions you have to take?
Of course.
Data cleansing is nothing but following the directions to the destination.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what the origin looks like, then how do you know what you need to do?
True.
So that's the data migration I'm the most concerned about. It's like, well, sometimes it's US and there is USA. Well, that's easily solved. That's not a problem, right? We'll sort that one out.
Yeah.
But if you got items that are inconsistently coded, if you have units of measure that are inconsistently coded.
Exactly.
But the most risky thing is your finance.
Yeah.
If you just have no referential integrity in your previous ledger,
right?
Your
forecasts are all going to be messed up.
Then it's like, well, the garbage that you get in, that's
going
to be your opening statement. Yeah. However, we close the year then, and then we start fresh. So because you already had that data and you've been closing your years on it. So we can all go like, oh, we need to fix it. Probably you should get advice from an accountant. I'm not your accountant. But we have the opportunity to start from fresh, right? And if we set up the process in the right way, that problem that you had in the past can never occur again because the system will simply go, sorry, you can't do this, right? So it's like the joke, if you're in Ireland and you go to the bar, like, the barman, like, how do I get to Dublin? And the bartender says, well, if I were you, I wouldn't be starting from here. But that's where you are with the data. I wouldn't be starting from here. Yes, yet we are here. What do we do? Right?
Yeah.
You do what you can.
You do what you can. In the end, it's the dashboard. And as long as the garbage that goes in is not the garbage that comes out.
As long as you stop generating garbage.
Then you're good to go.
Right? And you accept this is the dividing line.
Yeah.
That's the past.
Yeah.
We are a bit murky on the past, but here is the present all the way up to the future, and we know exactly what it means.
Yeah, that again boils down to the processes and the structure that you set up implementing. So in the end, you give the guidance to the customer to make sure, hey, this is how your data is going to look like. This is what your forecasts are going to look like, and how you can keep your data clean. So
Absolutely.
You give some kind of guidance.
Absolutely.
That's good. All right, before we end, we are in this beautiful studio called Life the Battlefield.
Yes.
It's by Mario Bekes, another wonderful customer of Matt over here. We'll bring him in just in a bit. But I have one last question, which is kind of interesting.
Uh-huh.
And we ask this to most of our partners. So please do try to describe Zoho One in 5 words, if possible, please.
Value,
Mm-hmm.
lifeblood.
Lifeblood. That's
It's the lifeblood
interesting.
of our business. I mean, value is easy, right?
Yeah.
It's obviously, you can't beat the value.
Okay.
I mean, simply can't beat the value.
Yeah,
It's
of
the
course you
lifeblood of our business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's but not just our business.
Mm-hmm.
It cannot be the lifeblood of our business if it wasn't the lifeblood of our customers,
True.
right? If it wasn't crucial to our customers, like, oh yeah, that's all I want. Maybe we'll do it next week. Maybe we switch it off. No. If you switch that off, they have a problem, right? So, lifeblood, it's essential.
Good.
I would say future-proof.
Future-proof.
Yes. So, whenever people tend to buy software and they go for an RFP process, they look for present proof, or actually last week proof, because that's when you wrote your RFP. I want all these requirements, right? And they evaluate that software on those requirements, and that evaluation process usually takes a couple of months, so it's then becomes last 3 months proof. Your business has changed.
Of course.
With Zoho One, it's sometimes you just wake up in the morning and you go like, what's that icon here? There's just a whole new app that appears because you guys keep developing new stuff.
I'll need a set of functionality.
So it is future-proof in that sense that you may not be buying the perfect solution, because anyone that sells you the perfect solution is just, again, not telling you the truth. There's only, trade-offs in software. But you know that you're not going to have the same 3 months or a year from now. There's going to be more, right? You may not need it. I mean, I've seen contract management come up. I looked at it and go, oh, okay. Yeah, I can see some scenarios in my previous employer that I would use that. I'm really hoping none of my clients would ever use it, but I see the value and it is there, right? So software just arrives. Now, the other addition is a couple of years ago already, Team Inbox. It's just like, it's brilliant. And when I explain it to people, first I go, what's Team Inbox? I don't understand it. And it's the same reaction I had, like, I don't understand this. I mean, just dive into it. But then you go into scenario, why would I have a Team Inbox? So a lot of our clients have a sales alias, right? Sales at. And what's the worst thing that can happen when someone sends an email to sales at? They think, oh, no one is handling it. No, that's your second worst problem. The worst problem is 3 people are handling it, and all 3 of them give a mutually exclusive answer to the query.
Yeah.
Because that customer is going like, you guys don't know what you're talking about,
Yeah.
right? And Team Inbox addresses that by assigning those things. And that just appeared, right? It's just an idea that someone had at Zoho, like, oh, that would be a good idea. Let's put it in Zoho One.
Yeah.
And we
Right.
go like, okay, fantastic.
Great.
right?
So I'm going to take that as your third word. Brilliant. 2 more.
Okay. Word stealing, because I took my third word. But
Well, you mentioned it, and it made perfect sense.
It's brilliant. Now, the other thing is it's quite supportive in your process, but I don't mean just Zoho One. So you can run it on any device that you have, right? So I don't run Windows in my office. I got Linux. There are some people in my office that use Mac, right? And yes, we do have some people using Windows, and that's great because it tests it on all the devices, but I'm not locked in. The other thing with that is with the flexibility and the freedom and the supporting, right? And I said support, device support, and whatever. I can call Zoho support or email them, and we get some really good answers. But they're not going like, oh, you need to use this and this software for it. We don't support that device, right? So if I have something like, hey, I'm using this particular part here, they never came back to me and say, oh, you just need to install it on something that we say you need to install it on. They go and look at it like, oh, why isn't it working there? And they go fix it. So Zoho has got this supporting mechanism behind it. Now, no customer support is ever perfect, right? But you don't get the feeling that they're just meeting the SLA.
No.
But sometimes they go like, oh, I need to respond in 48 hours. You know what I'm going to do? I think you asked me, and then copy the question, is that correct? Question mark. Best regards, support engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met my 48 hours SLA. Right? The service level agreement is then leading. That's what they're measured on.
Yeah.
You never get that with Zoho.
Okay.
Right? So sometimes you go back and forth, but at least you're talking with someone that genuinely wants to understand what your problem is. Right? Because software, again, there are no solutions, there are only trade-offs, and there's also no bug-free software.
Of course.
So, and that's where we're.
Great.
right there.
Do you have one more?
Demanding. He wants 5 words.
Demanding. Well, I have to be demanding. I had to ask 5 questions.
Yeah, no. So
Well-
it's as I said, you don't need another word.
You don't
It's
need
just
another word.
it's
That's good enough. We don't need another word to explain it.
Mm.
He's told exactly what we need to know.
Mm.
All right. So thank you so much, Matt, for joining us. I hope you don't mind us calling in one of your wonderful customers. All right, Mario Bekes, thanks for joining us today. And Matt, could you walk us through how Mario got introduced to you? You mentioned word of mouth.
word of
I'm
mouth.
assuming
Yeah,
that's the way it happened.
we have mutual acquaintances introduced us, but we actually once we met, it's so many years ago, and we just got talking, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Mario said, "Hey, I'm gonna start something new. It's gonna be mariobekes.com.au, which is next to his other business, which is Insight Intelligence."
Mhm.
And he had this idea on what it's going to be, right? And it's going to be a brand. And because Mario is an accomplished author as well as a podcaster.
Wow.
So I got like, wow, I know famous people.
I'm going to take an autograph later, Mario. Yeah.
So it's, and I said, okay, so ask him what you want to do and all that stuff. And I explained to him, I said, listen, this is what I'm doing with my business, right? And he said, okay, let's give it a try. Now, not only is Mario a long-term customer, he's also the first customer on the new model of the subscription for going 3 years now, I would suppose.
Yes.
When you started this business.
Almost 3 years, yeah.
So, and again, it's all small things. And Mario is really good at the things that he does, which I know nothing of, right? It's like intelligence services. And we've been on the webinars with you, which we set up with Showtime at the time, right? And I just go on there and go like, oh, I get free webinars. I learn so much. Right? It's amazing. But it's over the years, it's just more and more stuff comes in and his brand is growing. And now you got Live the Battlefield. We're bringing more and more of that Zoho One stuff in there. Whereas you look at just the pricing of it, right? So we do his newsletters, right? So we got Leon, who's a brilliant wordsmith, by the way. He can write really, really well. Also an author, by the way. So he puts together what Mario posts on his things in the newsletter. So we use campaigns, we use CRM. We got the forms on the website to book the
leads and stuff, so on and so forth.
Studio,
okay.
which then hooks into books for the invoicing and all that stuff.
So Mario, since he set up the solution for you, how did the process go about it?
Easy. Like we started small.
Did you just like start using the solution and you knew everything, or
No.
he had to walk you through it?
First of all, I'm very grateful that you are guys today in my studio. I was expecting I'm going to be interviewed by people from Zoho, particularly not from Matt. But where the beauty it is, when I started using Zoho, whatever it's Zoho One, whatever it started, right? Matt was very keen to explain to me that the benefits of it. And I didn't saw it straight away because I didn't understood what a CRM it is. And then the eureka, I said to myself, okay, as Matt says, you can't retain the clients if you don't know who to sell in what. The CRM does that job for you. So I started with a newsletter. So Matt composed a newsletter for me, use the CRM, enter the all data, from my end, from his end, people subscribing. So he was doing the manage between my website, between the people logging in on website. And I said to Matt, I said, look, I want to do some webinars. And they, that was just before the COVID started, right? And lockdowns happened. I said to how are you going to do this? All this, everybody talks about Zoom, and I didn't like Zoom very much, to be honest with you. Like I never liked it. I don't like it today. And Matt says to me, you can do everything in Zoho. I said, that's a big BS. He says to me, I'll show you. And he showed me. I said, Matt, this is my Word document. He converted everything. And I was just doing, hello, my name is Mario Bekes, and today I'm going to learn how to spy. And it was looking good, like everything. And he was there, not just prior, but during and after. So like some things I didn't know how to use, must be my age or not being digital literate enough. But Matt says to me, they just press this, press that.
Not being digital literate enough, really? You're wearing an Apple Watch and you're saying not being
Yeah,
digital
well,
literate?
that's because of my son. You know, I mean, he trucks me everywhere, so he can easily.
Oh, it's the other way around.
so he has
Anyway,
everything.
yeah.
On, you know, like it's like I know what time you're coming home. I say, how do you know? It's like I know you are in that street. So he has the phone to the watch.
Yeah.
Because he set up everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
To me, his mother. So yeah, Matt was there for me prior, during, and afterwards. And that workshop, you know, what's it called? The Zoho Media. What's it called? That segment where we running the workshops.
The Zoho Showtime.
Showtime, yeah. And that was the best part because you could ask questions. You can. It was me, another lecturer, right? And he was monitoring. Says, I really enjoy it because I have a superb thing. And then I just sit at home, like okay. And Sophie does everything. He sends the notes, thank you notes. I could download them as my entire process. No software does this. So when you put in context, you know, what I'll start doing, you know, afterwards, the podcasting, anything else, the CRM, the website, that all these components, and as I said to you, mentioned before, then I said to Matt, I need to pay all these Google Drives. I need to pay the Dropboxes, you know. Even I had the My Work server and everything else to try to separate my podcasting. Because podcasting, it's like about 100 gig per episode, at least, you know what I mean? 2-3 hours. Matt says to me, no, you have the work drive that's for free. I said, what's the work drive? And then he showed me. I said, oh, Jesus, man, just
Put everything on work drive. Yeah.
5 terabytes, right?
Yeah.
It's for a small company. If you're a big company, you get more.
Yeah.
But for a small company, 5 terabytes.
It's a lot.
Significant amount.
Yeah, you don't get that. I mean, other competitors maybe
and
offer
then
like 2
another
terabytes.
beautiful thing is Matt has this task, you know, communication, which comes to you. You can instantly communicate with somebody, which is beautiful for me. I can reach him on that thing. So I try to say, like, if you put all these components from other software providers, it's a lot of money. It looks small money. I don't know. Google Drive is like, I don't know, let's just say $20 per month.
Yeah.
But you adding $20 there, $50 there, $100 there.
Yeah.
It's like, man, that's a quite expensive business I have, and I don't making money.
Yeah, so what we call internally is the multi-vendor spiral, and that ends up adding to the total cost of ownership is what we say. When you start getting different applications for all the different needs, your costs go up drastically. And with Zoho, now that you're using Showtime and Click for collaboration and meetings and campaigns and so much
is there
and so
now,
on.
right now. You know, I mean, unfortunately, the only one thing is I need to still, I said to Matt, you know, unfortunately, I have 2 calendars. One is a Zoho, one is Outlook for my other business.
Yeah.
If I can do the marriage between those two, it's be beautiful. But so far, you know.
Talk with your other business on me and we change that.
So, look, I'm changing slowly these things because everything's in one place. And I truly don't need to, like, you know, the accounting, the Showtime, the presentations, the hard drive, external hard drive, you know what I mean, a work drive, it's there. Everything is there for me. And it's like, I don't need to complicate things anymore.
Yeah.
So now I just dump everything on my computer, put on a work drive, and I go home. So in the morning I wake up, everything 100 gigs is there.
It's safe.
It's
See
safe.
how that works in the model I just described.
Yeah, yeah, I totally understand.
I use an app to connect with Matt. I don't even know what app it is. And it's fantastic because you're using it.
Yeah.
It's not about the app.
Yeah, it's not about the app. It's about how it's so from what I gather here, the way you've implemented it is in such a way that you just see it as one product, Zoho One. You don't care about all the multiple different applications that are there in it because it works seamlessly for you and saves you time.
Yes.
You don't need external NASes to store your devices.
That's correct, yeah.
You don't need an external mailing solution, another storage solution online. And all this in a secure enclave with Zoho because Zoho has its own data centers, unlike other providers, right? So you're safe, secure, and in safe hands.
A shout out for that as well. Also for the workplace team in Zoho Mail.
Yeah.
I have had customers in also do special military projects, right? So another client of mine. And we sold Zoho One purely on the security aspects of it.
That's good to know.
Right? The two-factor authentication.
Yeah.
But also the mail on how that handles security. It's actually really...
Yeah, I forgot to mention one thing. It's security. Security is a very good because always you need to have that one authentication,
one app.
App, you know, I mean, one app, sorry.
Yeah.
And I don't mind because nobody else does this.
Yeah.
And I mean, now, you know, if you have a Facebook, you can log in everything and everywhere. And that's wrong. And I said to Matt, every time when I go somewhere and want to log in, he asks me, one authentication, right?
Yeah.
I don't mind. My mobile is here. Poof.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, just to make sure that our users are aware, there are other providers that do provide two-factor authentication,
and so far,
but yes,
So,
the fact that everything is there in one place, and
The big difference with one-off, right? Not only can we make policies in Zoho One,
yeah,
so depending on your organization, I got a client says, I don't want it. That's just like, I don't care. I don't want it,
Mm.
right? Hey, it's your business. I recommend differently. It's your business, right? But with one-off, the ability for me to actually scan the QR code that's on the display, not only do you say, I need a password, although you can go passwordless, not only do they say you need to have two-factor challenging, you must have that device in front of the screen to accept the challenge.
yeah,
And that is a level of security to know. So because anyone can actually intercept a number. If it's SMS, it can be intercepted.
yeah, definitely,
Right?
Yeah.
So OneAuth it's not only more user-friendly to scan a QR code, because you don't need to enter that 6-digit number.
Yeah, and it's also tied to the device
But
you're using.
in front of the screen that displays it.
Yeah.
And that means you can't be sitting in far away you stand, trying to log in and trying to intercept a number. And that is a massive, massive.
I think at Zoho it's a
advantage.
good. I think
Yeah.
people us like I never knew Zoho, and us again I never saw advertising.
Yeah.
I still don't see advertising, but I'm referring people to go to Matt because not just being happy customer. I know that everything what I need is there. For the price I'm paying, I mean, come on, seriously. And I have never drama. This is the best part. I never had a drama ever with any of these applications.
So anyway, with that, I think we'll wrap up our show. Thank you so much, Mario, for adding your valuable insights. And Matt, it's been an amazing pleasure hearing your side of the story. And also, I hope our audience finds it extremely insightful and reaches out to you as and when they need it.
Thank you very much for generosity with time.
No, it's been a pleasure.
It's absolutely an honor to be invited.
Great. All right. With that, guys, thank you so much for joining us in another episode of Partner Chronicles. You'll find us on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. With that, signing off, Akram.